Okay. Okay. Welcome to this Tuesday discussion. My name is Christoph Mauch and not Marco Heurich, but I'm happy to welcome Marco Heurich today, Professor Marco Heurich, who is well known at the Rachel Carson Center. He's worked with us over several years now, together with the National Park, the Bavarian National Park system. And Marco, we know each other. You also know Gesa. Gesa and I are moderating the Tuesday discussions. Gesa is the director of graduate programs, and it's wonderful to have you here today. Marco is a professor in Freiburg in forestry, but his main job is really in a part of Bavaria that currently has major problems with Corona, and that is the reason why he told us that he'd rather stay at the Czech border, and where in Grafenau-Freyung, I think you have the highest incidence rate, at least in Bavaria at this point. So he said, I would love to come, but I don't want to bring you Corona from this high incidence area. Marco has been working as a researcher in the forest for many, many years. If I remember right, you've done some scanning of forest structures, originally analyzed forest structures through scanning and through remote sensing for your dissertation, an award-winning dissertation. But over the years, you've worked also, Marco, on lynxes and wolves, lynxes in monitoring lynxes in the Bavarian forest and also in the adjacent Czech forest in the Šumava. And wolves and elk have been one of your research areas in the United States as well. I think Marco is the leading expert he's also the head of the Euro Lynx and the Euro Wildcat network, so European networks. I think he's the leading expert, and there's nobody who can tell us as much about the coming back of the wolves. And we are really excited to hear from you, Marco. So please join me in welcoming Marco Heurich.
Yeah, thank you very much, Christoph. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me to provide this talk. And yeah, the topic is today the comeback of the wolves, and I will provide you some information on wolves, but just very brief. So I was told 10 minutes talk and then a big discussion, and so I hope that I can keep the time, because the wolf is such a yeah, let's say, also from the ecological point, a very interesting species, but even more from the yeah, social dimensions and from the human dimensions. So I will share my screen. So you see my screen?
Yeah. Perfect.
So, yeah, the return of the wolves. So this picture shows pretty nicely that they are coming back. And of course, a lot of people from environmental science, they are fascinated by the wolves and they want to have them back because they have important implications for the ecosystem. But also a lot of people are, let's say, afraid of the big bad wolf, and so the question is, what is the yeah, scientific basis for that discussion? And what we see at the moment, because of favorite legislation and also a change in the opinion of people, large carnivores in general, they make their comeback in Europe. So you have the bears. So you see here, that's the map from the bears. Blue is the original range, and this light blue is some expansion. And you see that the animals are coming back. And we saw that animal like Bruno, who came back even to Bavaria, to Germany, from a small alpine population. That's some reintroduction which took place here in the Trentino. And lynx were coming back by reintroduction, for example, also here in the Bavarian forest. But the most impressive comeback is the comeback of the wolves. And so they are really coming back without any help. there are no reintroduction, they just recolonize the area. And maybe some information, as you might know, most wolves, they live in packs. And such a pack, that's basically the basic unit of the pack, that's a female and a male, plus their offspring from the last 2 years. So that's the normal core of a pack, but it could be also that other animals, also relatives, can join the pack. And the territory size is about 200 to 300 square kilometers, so pretty huge. And their habitat requirements, they are relatively low, because normally everybody thinks, oh, wolves are wilderness, they are a symbol of wilderness, but that's just because they survived there. So they survived human persecution in wild areas because the humans did not have any access. But in general, wolves are very flexible, are very intelligent, are very adaptable or adaptive to also human disturbance. And what they need is some area where they can hide, like forests. They mustn't be big, and also sufficient food in form of ungulates. And both is available in Germany. So this is the situation, basically the actual situation now. You see these green squares, and these green squares, their wolves have been were proved in the last year. And these black dots, every black dot is a reproductive unit, is a pack with pups. And in Bavaria, it's not so much here. So we have a pack nowadays here, which was not registered last year, but also 2 packs here in northern Bavaria, and then most packs in Saxony, Brandenburg, Lower Saxony, and oder Sachsen-Anhalt and Lower Saxony. And you see here how fast that goes. In 2017, 2018, we had 75 packs. 1 year later, 105 packs. And 1 year later, last year, 128 packs in Germany. And the number of pups which were born and also confirmed, 268, 393, 431. So that's basically an explosion. So, and the number of wolves in Germany, that's increasing by 30% each year. So this is really exponential growth of the population. And I think everybody who worked in environmental science was very much surprised by this development. And 20 years ago, nobody even thought that it would be possible that Germany will be recolonized by wolves in such an amazing speed. But of course, the comeback of the wolves raises a lot of questions. So what's the role of the wolves in the ecosystem? You might know these tales from the Yellowstone National Park that they have a strong impact on their prey. And via, via that impact, they reduce the number of deer, for example, and the number of deer is reducing the pressure on the forest with a lower number of deer. And also they have a pressure on the mesopredators like foxes or coyotes. And also that has implications for the ecosystem. But in general, in our human-dominated world, because most of the results we have, they are coming from North America, from relatively natural areas. But how is the impact of wolves in these highly humanized, cultural, modified landscapes where man is dominating the whole ecosystem? So this is a really interesting question. Also, like impact on game species. So the hunter fear this impact, or on the other side, the farmers fear that the wolves might kill their sheep. And that's also what we see, that the number of killed sheep is increasing also exponentially. So more than or almost 3,000 animals in 2020 19 mostly sheep and goats. And this is also raising a lot of discussion about how to manage wolves. At the moment, they are strictly protected, but a lot of land users, like the farmers and also the hunters, they say, yes, we need to change the law. Wolves it should be possible to hunt them. And another important management thing is, oh, excuse me, that's still in German, guarding dogs, herd protection dogs, and also electric fences. And all the federal states in Germany, they have some programs where they support livestock breeding with these fences. So they get these fences for free. And they also can buy these guarding dogs, and they get this money back. And also, depending on the state, they also pay the food, for example, for these dogs to reduce the damages to the livestock. Yeah, and then of course it's a big question: how dangerous are wolves? So we all know from our childhood that wolves can be dangerous, and there are a lot of fairy tales and whatever. And there was a study from a Norwegian institute between 1950 and 2000, and they found in Europe 59 attacks on humans in total, and 38 of them were by animals which were infested by rabies, and 5 ended deadly. So 5 dead people in that 50-year period, and 21 attacks by healthy animals, and 4 ended deadly. And North America, in the same time, they had together 13 attacks and 2 deadly, and they were caused by rabid wolves. So in general, in Europe and North America, very, very low numbers. 11 people killed by wolves in 50 years. So it's a very low risk that something is happening. But if you look at animals like India, you see 388 attacks on humans and 278 casualties. So it's a different situation in other countries. And in India, of course, they have a depletion of prey animals. Wolves have not enough food. They have to go for livestock. And also in India, it's still possible that the wolves can find food in the vicinity of houses and humans. And if they feed if they connect food and humans, then they search actively for food in the surrounding of humans, and that might lead to attacks on humans. And it's also, if you have like small children as sheep herds and so on, trying to defend their livestock, that might also end up deadly. Yeah, but if you compare that with traffic accidents in Germany, we have 3,000 dead people each year and almost 400,000 injured. And since the first wolves arrived in Germany in 2000, no human being got injured. So that's also important to note. But if a wolf would bite a person, you can be quite sure that it will be in all media. Yeah, that's the point why wolves are no animals like other animals, because they have a very big cultural backpack, we say. Because already in history, wolves were related to the devil, and also people were called werewolves. And people which, so if you know, if there's a full moon, then they will develop into animal-like creatures, werewolves, which were especially dangerous. And they were hunting on these werewolves. And especially the church said that these creatures, they have the devil inside. And so the wolf is a very, has this backpack from that times. And we also know that from our children time, Little Red Riding Hood, but also the wolf and the 7 goats. That's what we know. Wolves are killing humans, they are killing goats, and they are fierce animals, and you cannot trust them. And so what the people have in mind when the wolves are coming back, it's not the real creature, it's this creature, this cultural backpack created creature. And we still see that there's no other animal which is in some Wahlkampf in the election processes. So then you have the Green Party, we say, welcome wolf. And you have on the other hand, the right-wing party, the AfD, and they say, yes, please kill the wolves. And so it's even a very big debate in politics on wolves. Yeah, and also, for example, in Bavaria, the hunters say wolves do not fit to that country. They cannot live here. So wolves belong to natural areas, but not to cultural areas. And also there are several, also, I think 3 weeks ago or so, there was also a demonstration against wolves, which tried to get to reduce the legal protection of the animals and to allow hunting of wolves. Yeah, so that's already the end of my talk. I think it's important to have a fair conversation on these animals. And so the wolves are just animals. So they are similar like dogs or roe deer or whatever. And we should really have a debate which bases on the facts we know about the animals. But politicians and also interest groups, they try to paint a very bad picture of the wolves on the wall and use them for their purposes, because they say we protect the children and we protect the weak women in the society from the wolves.